This presentation offers tips on how to approach a simulation. As a mentor, you can use these tips to help your students refine their case writing skills. By the end of this session, you will be familiar with CASB's suggested approach to simulations, know what resources are available to assist you, know how to access the CASB Mentor Center, and know how to register for the mentor modules. We'll start by covering CASB's suggested approach to simulations. The framework for approaching comprehensive cases and multi-subject questions is similar. Comps are longer and contain a larger number of issues, while multis are shorter and contain fewer issues. However, the reasoning students apply and the steps they go through are the same for both. We've developed a guide for approaching a comprehensive case and multi-subject question. You can use this guide to help your students sharpen their approach. You can find this guide in the mentor modules. We'll let you know how to obtain access to the modules later in this session. The basic approach to case writing for comprehensive cases or multi-subject questions involves three types of activities. Planning comes first. This should take between 25 and 30% of the available time, depending on the complexity of the question, and involves a number of steps. 1. Allocating time to planning. 2. Reading the narrative once. 3. Reading the narrative again. 4. Scanning the exhibits and rereading the issues. 5. Carefully reading the exhibits and organizing the case facts. 6. Taking a step back and pausing. 7. Planning what you are going to do. 8. Ranking and ordering the issues. 9. Allocating your time. And 10. Ranking the topics. Next comes writing. This should take most of the rest of the time. Review is the final stage. Any time remaining should be spent on review. The purpose of the planning stage is to organize and outline the response. This stage consists of a series of steps, each one designed to guide students through preparing their response. The steps are detailed in the Approaching a Simulation Guide, and we'll briefly cover each one. The first step in the planning stage involves allocating time to planning. Write down how long will be spent planning. The key is to stick to this time. The second step in the planning stage involves reading the narrative once, without writing anything down. The third step in the planning stage involves reading the narrative again. This time, identify your role, the users and their strategic objectives, the timeline, the issues, and the relevant case facts. The fourth step in the planning stage involves scanning the exhibits and rereading the issues. Think about how the exhibits relate to the issues described in the narrative. The fifth step in the planning stage involves carefully reading the exhibits and organizing the case facts. This requires making notes and creating the plan. The sixth step in the planning stage involves taking a step back and pausing. Spend a moment to reflect on how the issues and the planned analyses fit together and consider whether there are any bigger picture items to consider. The seventh step in the planning stage involves planning what you are going to do. Look at each issue and identify the approach to take to address it. The eighth step in the planning stage involves ranking and ordering the issues. Decide in which order the issues should be approached. The ninth step in the planning stage involves allocating your time. Assign time to spend analyzing and responding to each issue. The 10th and final step in the planning stage involves ranking the topics. Prioritize the topics that relate to each issue. In the last few pages of the Approaching a Simulation Guide, we also provide students with an illustrative example of how to outline a simulation. This example encompasses all 10 steps of the planning stage. Again, you can find this guide in the mentor modules. The writing stage comes next. This step involves crafting the quantitative and qualitative analyses. Each quantitative analysis should have a purpose and conclusion that relates to the issues and users' needs. Every quantitative analysis must have a qualitative component. Before starting the qualitative analysis, it's a good idea to revisit what the issues are. If there is extra time remaining in the simulation, the final stage in the framework involves review. In this stage, think about what the big picture is for the simulation and ensure you have addressed all of the user's needs with specific conclusions or recommendations. Also, if time permits, quickly perform a spell check. Next, we'll let you know what resources are available to assist you in supporting your students, and we'll also show you how to access the CASB Mentor Center. You have 3 sources of valuable mentoring information available to you: the Mentor Center, the CASB Mentor modules, and the UFI Prep Mentor module. Let's take a moment to distinguish the 3 from each other. The Mentor Center contains various mentoring resources, including an overview of common mentoring practices at training offices, a general framework for mentoring students through modules 1 to 5, module-specific mentoring tips, and additional mentoring guidance on specific topics such as case writing and critical thinking. Recordings of any webinars we hold will also be posted to the Mentor Center. The Mentor Center is located on the CASB website and is open to all as we support the mentoring activities you carry out at training offices. We also have 2 different types of mentor modules. The CASB Mentor modules contain all the learning materials for modules 1 through 5. In other words, they provide you with access to the same materials students engage with as they complete the CASB modules. The CASB Mentor modules also contain links to all the Mentor Center resources. The CASB Mentor modules are housed in Desire to Learn, CASB's learning management system. Since they contain proprietary information, you must register to gain access to these modules. And finally, the UFI Prep Mentor module contains all the learning materials from CASB's UFI Prep program, as well as links to relevant Mentor Center resources. The UFI Prep Mentor module provides you with access to all of the materials that your students will use to prepare for the UFI. The UFI Prep Mentor module is also housed in Desire to Learn and requires you to register to obtain access. You can find the Approaching a Simulation guide that we covered in this session in both the CASB Mentor modules and the UFI Prep Mentor module. Finally, we'll let you know how to register for the Mentor modules. Why register for the CASB Mentor modules? Unlike the Mentor Center, the Mentor modules contain all learning materials for modules 1 through 5. Registration enables you to access the same information your students see as they make their way through the CASB modules. Registered mentors also received advance notice of any mentoring events such as webinars and are informed as new mentoring resources are developed. Who can register? Qualified CAs or CASB students who are more senior to the students they are mentoring can register. HR and student contacts at CA training offices can also register, even if they are not CAs. To register, complete the CASB Mentor registration application in the Forms section of the CASB website. Registration is valid until mid-October of each year, and content is refreshed with each module offering. We will contact you each fall to renew your registration for the coming year. Some of you may also mentor students who will be preparing for the UFI, so we'll take a moment to show you how to get access to this module. Why register for the UFI Prep Mentor module? Again, unlike the Mentor Center, the UFI Prep Mentor module contains all learning materials from CASB's UFI Prep program. You will have access to the same resources your students will use to prepare for the UFI. Registered mentors also receive advance notice of any UFI mentoring activities such as webinars and are informed as new UFI mentoring resources are developed. Who can register? Qualified CAs or CASB students who have successfully completed the UFI can register. HR and student contacts at CA training offices can also register even if they are not CAs. To register, complete the UFI Mentor registration application in the Forms section of the CASB website. Registration is valid until the end of April of each year, and content is refreshed each May. We will contact you each spring to renew your registration for the coming year. If you have any questions regarding CASB mentoring, please contact Laura Gregorick, CASB's Director of CA Training Office Engagement, via email at laura.gregorick@casb.com or via phone at 604-488-2645. As mentors, you play an important role in student development, and CASB values the support you provide to students. Thank you for your interest and dedication. This concludes the Approaching a Simulation session.